in your lives this weekend. And I thought instead of just saying hello and all of that, that I would share with you a little bit of an experience that I had that's kind of similar to what you had, but it's a little different as well. I had a chance in '91 to go to Gore Island, which is just off of Dakar, Senegal. It was a holding place for slaves before they were moved forward across the Atlantic. And it was my experience, and I fancy myself a little bit of a writer. So in order to capture the moment and the experience, I wrote a little something. I journaled my experience, and I'd like to share it with you because I kind of think you may be experiencing something like that in Alabama in a few days. So this is dated April 20th, noon, 1991. Gore Island has just been felt by summit delegates. Gore Island, I spell it G-O-R-Y. It reminds me of how the ancestors must have felt when they were herded onto boats to be sent to the island so long ago. Unfortunately for our group, some could not go on the ferry because it was filled to capacity. The ride took 10 minutes. We arrived at 9:30 and were told to be back at the dock within an hour. Our march from the ferry to the streets of the island was like a death procession. No one rushed, no one wanted to be the first there. We walked into the narrow alley leading toward the building, a pale reddish pink, the holding facility for slaves on their way to the New World. Here, millions of slaves were taken in preparation for the passage from home to hell. The rooms have been left intact over the years, but they are not really rooms. They are holes, pens. I walk in, and the illuminating rays of light from the morning sun are blocked out by the cold stone ceiling. Each hole had a slit in the wall that allowed only a sliver of light and life to steal its way inside. 8 feet by 8 feet are the dimensions of the pens, housing up to 100 slaves. One hole had no slit. It was called the hole for those who rebelled. It was a French word. I slowly walked through the hole methodically. I think in every step and every move that I take and make, the chances are quite likely that my mother or my father or both were somewhere in this building from 1536 to 1848. I walk toward the back of the building. There is a door. Light is beyond it and certain death. As I angle my way toward the door, I feel pain and fear. What can I do? They must have said to themselves. They're headed for the door, called the door of no return. Once out that door and into the awaiting ship, never to see Africa again, never to see family again, never to see familiar sights or smell familiar aromas again. The guide, an older gentleman, no longer calls it the door of no return. He calls it the door of many return, for we are here today, representatives of those who made the one-way journey so long ago. I wander back and forth. An intriguing meeting is taking place in the center of the building. The guide has begun to talk about Gore Island. I stand in the small entrance of one of the pits, eyes closed through my Ray-Bans, listening. 10 to 15 million Africans stolen from the land and brought to this place. Cries that went up into the night. Punishment for the rebels, hanging with a noose tied around the waist instead of the neck to prolong the agony of death. On and on he goes in a sweet and tender voice that lost nothing through the interpreter. A few sobs rise now around me. When the guide concludes, Congressman Walter Fauntleroy begins to speak from the steps leading to the master's cabin upstairs. He asks that we might all close our eyes. He takes us back, cries out, "I wish I knew. I wish I knew which one it was who went for me. I wish I knew." I grow an image in my mind, carrying myself across the corridors of time. No longer standing in one of the entries, I am now packed into the one for rebels. I'm not the only one there. There are many. They are there for rebellion. We're chained together, hand upon hand, foot upon foot. We are naked. No place to relieve ourselves. The smell is unbearable. No air to breathe. The heat crucifies. We do not cry out from our pen, but we hear cries around us. We hear the infants as they moan with baby sounds of despair. Torn from loving arms, they have their room now cleaned out once a day, watered down. But no one there to hug them, to pick them up, to soothe them, or to hold them close. The mothers wail in another pen, wailing for their babies, their loved ones, crying for someone to come, please come, begging for their tormentors to leave them alone. What thoughts must be running through my mind as I sit in this pen, crouched, chained as an animal. What tribes do these strange people come from? Who originated such cruelty? What have I done to displease their gods? Why does no one come to stop the crying? Will my village warriors come to the rescue? Where is my father? Where is my mother? Where is my wife, my children? Where is the wise one from my cradle? Where are the priests? What am I doing here? And why can't I run with my face to the wind to just smell the scent of my village once again? Why am I chained? Why have I been beaten? Why is there no sky above me? What has happened to the air around me? Where is the laughter? Whose sister did I dishonor? Brother did I kill in battle that I would be so treated? Goree Island, a must for every African American who can make the journey. Walter cried, Dick Gregory consoled him. New moans rose around me, mixing with the echoing cries of the distant years. I could not cry. My soul cried, but my eyes shed no tears. Now they are many, below in the hell that must have surely opened widely to receive them. I must rest now as we soar above the blue divide. I have a weary body, a tired soul. My spirit has been tested, but I have found that fewer clouds hover above Africa. That's my Goree Island experience. So welcome, and I hope y'all close your eyes and imagine with the power that the divine has given us all, what it must have been like when you get to Alabama in a few days.
Thank you so much.